Have you ever wondered why some men battle to gain women's attention, while others appear to draw them naturally? Why certain men seem alluring even though they look nothing like Hollywood stars? The truth is it transcends wealth or appearances. Deeper psychological components are engaged. Ones 95% of men completely ignore. Furthermore, covered in today's video will be that too. Thus, keep observing. Even if you're tired of feeling like you're always overlooked or neglected, since at the end of this film you'll know the 5 powerful psychology secrets that make women most desire you. First, hit that subscription button and like this video. If you're ready to alter your love life, these ideas will, I guarantee you, change everything. Stay until the very last sense. What you will find will completely shift your perspective on attraction. Introduction to the psychological secrets. Where then is our trip to begin? Attractiveness is sometimes seen as a mystery, even though it is founded on human psychology. Women are set to respond to particular stimuli, much as males are. No, it's not about little details like your height or income level either. It is about realizing their psychological and emotional needs. The males that get this stand out from the rest. Let every one of us personally examine these 5 psychological riddles. Each of these relates to women's deeper level thinking, sensation, and reaction. The weird thing is most males are completely blind to them. Psychology secret 1, confidence without arrogance. Do you remember the first time you met someone with just that unmistakable presence? Remember that instant. Maybe it happened at a party, or perhaps a casual conversation with coworkers or pals at work. Something about them captivated you even if they said little. Usually their clothes or look had nothing bearing on anything. It was something more, a quiet, unshakable confidence that infused their approach. Stop for a second right now. Think back on your own life. Have you ever met someone and been nervous, not knowing what to say or do? Maybe you became unduly focused on your lack of natural confidence in the midst of trying to wow them. We have all experienced that. You worry about saying the wrong thing, or maybe you try to show off a little just to find you come across as trying too hard. Should you have ever felt that way, you are not uncommon. Women really find enormous attractiveness in confidence, but not the kind of confidence that grabs attention. Consider confidence as the cornerstone. Arrogance is like a building built on unstable ground. The calm kind of confidence, one which says, I know who I am, and I don't need to prove it, is the one that really works. From the outside, arrogance seems fine, but inside it is hollow and under pressure collapses. True confidence is about being content with yourself, flaws and all. It is not about denigrating others or proving how wonderful you are. Think about this before we proceed. Perhaps you delivered a personal narrative meant to seem outstanding, but it felt forced. Alternatively, you might have found yourself trying to one-up someone else or too competitive. Did it not feel quite right? Women see when you're satisfied with yourself and when you're not forced to perform or pass for someone you're not. Real confidence is quiet and assertive. It's also pretty beautiful. The next time you are talking with a woman, stop. Wait to wow her or talk about your most recent accomplishment. Instead, be right here, right now. Trust me, it is far more powerful than trying to present yourself as the most important person in the room. This is where it gets interesting. Women start perceiving you in a different way when you stop trying to prove yourself. You stand out as they realize you are not asking for their approval. It is what drives their curiosity about you. Remember, it's about being consistent, safe, and most importantly, honest with yourself. That type of confidence motivates women most to desire you. It's not about shouting. Psychology secret 2, emotional availability. Pausing now, consider your own romantic experiences. Have you ever found yourself laying all you have on the table too soon? Perhaps you reasoned that by being totally honest, you would establish a closer relationship, but it left nothing more to find, not even generating mystery. It's like telling someone the ending of a tale before they have ever turned pages. Where in that would one find the thrills? We sometimes rush things because we fear losing someone, but in truth, this is about letting things happen naturally and allowing inquiry to flourish. This strengthens your relationship as there is always something more to learn. This is not about being emotionally absent or remote, shoving people away or passing for someone else. Imagine now someone who left a little mystery in the air, someone who always kept you wondering. That person most likely still enters your mind occasionally, do not they? At first, it could feel great, but over time it can lose its thrills. Imagine now someone who left a small mystery in the air, someone who always kept you wondering. This is so because they perfected the craft of keeping you fascinated. When done right, mystery does not alienize people. It invites them in. It's about providing space for curiosity, rather than for creating emotional distance. Women want to feel as though they always have more to unearth about you. Thus the fire stays alive. She will want to know more about you, but she will also be free to expose herself at her own speed. The magic happens in that regard. Retaining some mystery will not only keep her interested but also give you chances to grow personally knowing her more. Relationships are two-way streets. Thus, when you allow room for inquiry, it travels both directions. Recall this the next time you are in a conversation. Keep a slight mystery in the air. Her want for you will be strongest from that subtle intrigue, the impression of there's more to him than meets the eye. Psychology Secret 3: Purpose and Passion. Remember those times when you felt you had to keep it together? To never show weakness since you believe that would increase her regard and desire for you? Really, how did that affect you? Was it ever so draining as like you were donning a mask that did not really fit you? Most men miss here. They believe they are keeping the appeal by always projecting strength and emotionlessness. Actually, though, women yearn for a man who can strike a mix between tenderness and strength. It's not about constantly being emotional or donning your heart on a sling around the clock. It's about those times when you let her see you are more than simply a solid front. Each of us has visited there. But consider this. Have you ever had a difficult day, perhaps in your personal life or at work, and felt as though you could share it? Rather, you bottled it, smiled through the suffering, and tried to go ahead ignoring how you really felt. Each of us has visited there. I simply want to be upfront about it. I'm just somewhat suffering. When done in moderation, that kind of vulnerability is rather attractive since it shows her you trust her enough to be truthful with her. Not to confuse you now, though, you are not under obligation to divulge everything at once either. It's about being emotionally present right when it counts. It's about revealing a little bit of yourself that you might have been reluctant to show. When she sees you ready to be vulnerable, a woman grows closer. She wants to be open to you as well as she believes she can be at your side in return. Let us go back now to your story. Think of a time you spent with someone yet felt cut off from them. Maybe that was because none of you were really expressing your true emotions. Though not obviously obvious, you were behind a wall. Would it not have changed everything if one of you knocked down that wall and stated, "Here's how I'm really feeling"? Emotional availability dissolves barriers and allows real connection exactly like this. Men who are ready to be emotionally honest appeal to women, since it shows that they lack fear of their emotions. If you are confident enough in yourself to share them, this shows that you have actual strength. How thus can one strike a balance between sensitivity and strength? Simply enough, be honest. Share if you are experiencing your challenging circumstances. Share anything you are considering. Real strength is about letting her see the real you, not only the one you assume she should see. Hide behind the mask of constantly being strong. It's about being able to face your emotions and share them when it's relevant. Fascinating, too, is the idea that being emotionally present helps you personally rather than merely your relationship. Let yourself be vulnerable. You will connect to her and yourself more too. You learn to recognize that it makes sense to not be in ideal shape all the time. Being human entails this, hence when you embrace it, You create a bond going beyond just attraction. Think on how this could change your perspective of your contacts. Is that anything we might talk about? Imagine being able to say, "I'm feeling a little off today," instead of trying always to be the strong, silent type. That kind of honesty is rejuvenating and enables her to feel as though she truly belongs in your life. Instead of merely someone you are trying to dazzle, try thus to be somewhat more emotionally sensitive the next time you are with someone you love. Divulge her you are human, you have emotions, and you trust her enough to share even if you do not have to divulge everything at once. This kind of sensitivity makes a woman want you even more since it shows that you are real rather than only strong. Psychology Secret 4, Mystery and Intrigue. Allow me to somewhat probe you. Remember a time when you came across someone very confident? Maybe their approach into a room, their speech style, or their attitude. Definitely you could feel it immediately away. Something about them caught you even though they were not very loud or flashy. Think now of someone who strikes as snobbish. Correct? That turned out to be the exact opposite. Maybe you were pushed off, maybe even uncomfortable, instead being pulled to them. Could you mention someone from your own life who brilliantly achieves that? Balance of confidence and modesty? Clearly see them in your memory. Their effect on your mood was what? Chances are they made you feel good about yourself. Not only because they were confident, but also because they spared showing anything. Their confidence lay in elevating others, not in denigration of others. Let's now connect this back to you. How present you are to someone you love. Are you driven to always highlight your skills, achievements, or abilities? Alternatively, do you let your actions and vitality to speak for themselves? Many guys understand this differently. They think they are showing confidence by being too forceful. Real confidence, nevertheless, is quiet. That aligns consistently. It is not necessary for public release. Return to your love meetings. Have you ever been in a relationship when you felt as like you had to always prove your value? Perhaps by talking about your job, goals, or achievements? Although you might have thought that would wow her, was it really? Alternatively, did it seem as trying too much? On the other hand, think of a time when you were simply yourself and there was no need for talking about or flaunting your successes. Regarding that, what was the variation? When it's sincere, confidence is magnetic. Though not in a way that undermines others, women like men who are confident in themselves. It's about silently realizing your own value, not about saying, "Look at me, I'm great." Confidence free of conceit allows her to be comfortable, to be herself, and to be drawn into your business without feeling threatened. Let's get personal here. Has anyone you know ever been around someone who constantly speaks about themselves, their achievements, their goals? It starts to feel after some time that their priorities are more impressiveness than their relationship with you. Imagine now someone whose confidence you could sense but who hardly spoke at all. Because of almost like aura they surround, you feel secure and desire to be surrounded more. Confidence this kind appeals to women. It's not about trying to control every conversation or boasting. It's about realizing your value comes from your behavior, not from your words, and about finding comfort in your own skin. The secret is that people are inspired to feel that same degree of confidence when you project it. It is spreading. She starts to feel better about herself. When she's around you, as your calm strength creates a place where she might be her best self. Let me now urge you to go back to an occasion when you might have felt inadequate. Maybe it was only a date or a conversation with someone you liked. Were you driven to overcompensate by highlighting your skills or achievements? That is rather natural. Everyone has visited there. Imagine, though, how it may have felt if you let yourself relax, believe that who you are is enough, and let the topic naturally change. Surely that would feel more real? Definitely that would encourage a more genuine relationship. It's interesting to observe that confident without conceit is about how you make her feel, rather than merely about yourself. Women want men who are self-confident, since it offers stability instead of exceptionalism. She comes to you as she feels safe and knows you are not trying to prove anything. Simply said, there is a natural relationship. No want for constant validation exists. Think on the most confident persons you know right now. They do not have to yell loudly to be obvious. Their tranquility, their energy, their confidence speak for itself. Women find attractive confidence in this kind since it stems from genuineness. You are not trying to pass for another person. You are at ease being you, basically speaking. How then could one cultivate such kind of confidence? It starts with consciousness of oneself. You have weaknesses too, but know your strengths. Not about perfection. Real confidence is about being at ease with you, faults and all. Embracing it helps you to create real connections. You stop trying to prove yourself at that moment. When you think back on your past relationships, were there moments when you felt driven to flaunt, or establish your power? What would have happened if instead you let your actions and energy to speak for themselves? Assume you are sufficient and trusted. Remember, as you progress in your love life, confidence is more about presence than it is about volume. It's about being enough at peace in your own body to let circumstances unfold naturally. The real magic happens when you do this, since it helps her to feel free to be herself. Women prefer confident men since they quietly live it, not because they brag about their value. Recall that the next time you are on a date or in a conversation, you are not under any obligation to prove anything. Let your own vitality tell for itself. That piece of assurance will captivate her and inspire more without your having to tell. Psychology Secret 5, Authenticity. Let's investigate something that will really help you to relate to women, playfulness. Have you ever gone on a date where everything seemed so scheduled, so serious that you both ended up just running through the motions? The drive to impress seemed to take front stage over the enjoyment of being with you. Imagine now a time when you let go, when laughter ran free and the talk sounded natural. That memory warms your heart, surely. What then do you find entertaining? Are you teasing one another gently, making jokes? Or maybe casual conversation that causes you both to giggle till your sides hurt? Imagine those moments when everything appeared to be light and happy. Those are the periods when lifetime relationships develop. They not only provide entertainment value, but also keep a relationship lively. Think on your own dating life. Remember a time when you and your spouse were just having fun? Perhaps you were playing games, goofing about, or maybe cracking inside jokes just the two of you understood. What feelings that followed from that? Those carefree years let closeness flourish. In that laughing and happy environment, you both can let your guards down and create a closer relationship. Now, here's a little secret. Guys that can make women laugh attract to them. It's about having a laid-back attitude and not giving everything tremendous consideration. Not merely about delivering the best jokes. Approaching problems with a joyful attitude helps you create an environment where she feels comfortable, where she may be herself, and where the relationship naturally develops. Let us go back now to your own life. Have you ever had a bad or awkward date? Maybe the joy of simply being with each other lost in your great attempts to impress one another. But think about how things altered when someone cracked a joke or offered a playful comment to lighten counterpoint to the gravity. The barriers collapsed precisely like that, and all of a sudden you were smiling, relaxed, and loving of each other's company. Is not that magic of playfulness? Another thing to consider is that when you are fun, you show your lack of fear of vulnerability. Recall that the next time you are on a date or in a conversation, you are not under any obligation to prove anything. Let your own vitality tell for itself. That piece of assurance will captivate her and inspire more without your having to tell. Psychology Secret 5, Authenticity. Let's investigate something that will really help you to relate to women, playfulness. Have you ever gone on a date where everything seemed so scheduled, so serious that you both ended up just running through the motions? The drive to impress seemed to take front stage over the enjoyment of being with you. Imagine now a time when you let go, when laughter ran free and the talk sounded natural. That memory warms your heart, surely. What then do you find entertaining? Are you teasing one another gently, making jokes? Or maybe casual conversation that causes you both to giggle till your sides hurt? Imagine those moments when everything appeared to be light and happy. Those are the periods when lifetime relationships develop. They not only provide entertainment value, but also keep a relationship lively. Think on your own dating life. Remember a time when you and your spouse were just having fun? Perhaps you were playing games, goofing about, or maybe cracking inside jokes just the two of you understood. What feelings that followed from that? Those carefree years let closeness flourish. In that laughing and happy environment, you both can let your guards down and create a closer relationship. Now, here's a little secret. Guys that can make women laugh attract to them. It's about having a laid-back attitude and not giving everything tremendous consideration. Not merely about delivering the best jokes. Approaching problems with a joyful attitude helps you create an environment where she feels comfortable, where she may be herself, and where the relationship naturally develops. Let us go back now to your own life. Have you ever had a bad or awkward date? Maybe the joy of simply being with each other lost in your great attempts to impress one another. But think about how things altered when someone cracked a joke or offered a playful comment to lighten, counterpoint to the gravity. The barriers collapsed precisely like that. And all of a sudden you were smiling, relaxed, and loving of each other's company. Is not that magic of playfulness? Another thing to consider is that when you are fun, you show your lack of fear of vulnerability. Your readiness to let free, to be a little foolish, helps her to be able to do the same. It's like creating a safe bubble free from criticism, where you may probe each other's personalities. Let us pretend for a moment. Imagine yourself on a date and things start to seem rather too serious. What if, in that moment, you joked about the awkwardness rather than trying to disrupt the silence with pressure-driven conversation? Perhaps something like, "So, should we break the ice with a hilarious dance?" That tiny, light-hearted move can radically change the air. It allows her to laugh, participate in the fun, and respond with her own lighter spirit. Perhaps you started a pillow fight or challenged one another to a dance-off. Those times are like little sparks igniting the passion and longing in a marriage. They remind you, both of you, why you originally value each other's company. Here is an interesting question now. Never forget the power of playfulness as you grow. It's a method of deeper connection than just a flirting tool. Approaching relationships with a sense of humor and lightness enables her to let go of her limitations and travel with you into a happy world. True intimacy develops in those laughing and happy times, forging a link strong enough to last a lifetime. Be a little playful the next time you are out with someone important. Make her laugh, tell outrageous stories, and resist taking anything very serious. She will want you more the more you welcome fun. Playfulness is not only a component of attraction, it's also a necessary component for a long-lasting relationship. Remember those times when your heart skipped a beat and you felt as though you were living in a universe of your own, where laughter resonated and happiness was abound. So welcome the ability of fun to improve your marriage. Not only about the great romantic gestures, sometimes the small moments of delight count most. Having said that, appreciate your viewing. Until next time.